So we've achieved. We're gonna dance through that intro every single time, aren't we?
Maybe. I mean, if there's music on, I'll probably dance to it.
Yeah, yeah, I got that problem too.
Okay, we're podcasting. Hi. Nobody yet. Zero fans.
What's the show called, Paul?
Show's called It's My First Time IMFT.
It's not as dirty as you think.
And so now it'll just forever be IMFT and people will be like, what does that stand for? And it's just what it
I
is.
mean, we could ease into it a little bit more than that. We can say it for like the first 5 shows, and then we'll say, "Welcome to KFC."
You've downloaded the wrong thing. Unified tea break.
Always good for audio. uh, so today we are tackling 1995's Johnny Mnemonic, the also 1995 Matrix soundtrack, music from and inspired by.
Matrix
And
didn't come out in 1995.
no, it didn't. You're right. I'm sorry. I was thinking about that was the thing. I was going through 1995 in music, trying to find also an album that came out in 1995, trying to
Oh.
go for a theme, and my theme ended up being Keanu Reeves.
The worst theme for the first show.
I mean, there are a lot of there.
99
Right.
came out in 99.
There are a lot of other actors I could have pulled from Johnny Mnemonic to follow their career as the theme.
Yeah, who's the French guy? He's in everything.
Udo Kier.
Yeah. He was also the bad guy
He's
in,
like he's a fucking vampire in everything. He's an actual, I think, real world vampire.
Wasn't he in Matrix 2? Or was that a different French guy?
You mean The Matrix as well, or The Matrix 2? The second Matrix movie.
The second Matrix music.
Never saw it.
Really?
Really, never. I watched that first Matrix movie, and I decided, you know what, that ending where he becomes fucking Superman,
yeah.
that's all I need from the Matrix.
That's all anybody needed.
Well, as it turned out, yeah. But they went ahead and made those 2 sequels back to back, which is never a good idea, I feel like. Like it didn't even work for Back to the Future. So if it doesn't work for Back to the Future, it's kind of off the table. Wait for the second one to be good and successful, and then make the third one.
Yeah, I guess.
So since we're talking about The Matrix right now, did you listen to that soundtrack?
Oh, yeah. I did. Of course I listened to the soundtrack. What track listing do you have? I'll just go with the Wikipedia track listing, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I went with too. I guess I should bring that up.
Okay, so on the track listing we have Rock is Dead by Marilyn Manson, Spy Break by Propellerheads, Bad Blood by Ministry, Club to Death by Rob D. That is the big word mix.
Okay, now I really got to look it up.
Mino mix. I don't know what that says. Prime Audio Soup by Meat Beat Manifesto.
Oh, Meat Beat Manifesto, also on the awful, possibly future topic, Mortal Kombat soundtrack.
Ooh.
We might need to do the Mortal Kombat soundtrack.
Alright, that's fine. Leave You Far Behind by Lunatic Calm, Minefields, Prodigy, Dragula, Rob Zombie, My Own Summer, Shove It by Deftones, Ultrasonic Sound.
I never feel confident anytime there's anything
In
in
parentheses?
brackets.
How did they mean that part?
Like,
Yeah.
how do I read that? Do I say my own summer shove it, or do I just run through it, or do I say my own summer shove it? And then when I say shove it, I always want to do it like he does it in the song.
Shove it, shove it, shove it. Yeah. Ultrasonic Sound by Hive. Look to Your Orb for the Warning, which is the radio edit by Monster Magnet.
What a shitty band.
Du Hast by Rammstein and Wake Up by Rage Against the Machine. Okay, Rock is Dead by Marilyn Manson. That was a good song.
Can I just say first that this album, when I was done with it, I was like, holy shit, this is literally a time machine back to 1995. You are
99.
99. Pardon me, I'm getting fucked up. So this is a time machine back to 1999. You know, you're plopped in a goth dance club. You're wearing the mesh shirt. You
Trench coat.
you you got fucking 8 rings on on your 10 fingers, at least one thumb. You you maybe got an unnatural color
What is
in your hair.
the Celtic cross? Where it's the cross and then it has like the circle at the top, or like the Egyptian cross
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever the
yeah,
hell
yeah.
it
No,
is?
I know. Your onks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're wearing an ankh. You're
hmm
definitely wearing an
One
ankh.
of those
You don't
necklaces.
know what it means, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. All right. Rock is. This is gonna be so shitty, but there's
That
like.
was pretty shitty, Paul.
I was gonna grab a speaker, but I didn't.
I think anybody who's gonna give a shit is gonna know most of these songs, and if you don't know, you probably don't need to know.
So Rock is Dead appeared in the end credits.
Yeah, that for some reason this soundtrack starts with the last song of the movie, which is weird.
Because you're finish the movie and then put on the soundtrack right away.
Although I gotta say, if Marilyn Manson was the last track on this album, it doesn't matter what good songs are on it. I'm throwing it in the trash. Marilyn Manson sucks.
What do you mean?
This might be the second catchiest song they ever did. I forgot about this song. I remembered it when I listened to it, but it's got hand claps. It's like a fake glam rock song. Marilyn Manson is an awful lead singer. He's terrible. He has no skill. He's a front man, so if you take the visuals away, it's a useless, worthless band, in my opinion. Um, but like as far as I'm concerned, they have one good song ever.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like. Man, '99 was such a strange time for music.
It wasn't great.
Limp Bizkit, Korn, Marilyn Manson.
The Deftones, obviously.
No, that I mean, yeah,
The
but
Deftones
not like.
always get lumped in with Korn and Limp Bizkit and stuff.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the people that were like on MTV all day, every day. It was like, here's NSYNC. Okay, now we'll switch over to Marilyn Manson.
Blink 182.
Yes, exactly. um, so I was listening to this in the car, and Spy Break came on, and Spy Break is during the lobby, like the big
As
action
soon as
sequence.
it came on, I'm like, hey, it's the Matrix song.
Yeah, and I like instantly floored it in the car. I was like, oh, I gotta fight somebody. I just gotta pull over and just like that.
Where's Hugo Weaving? I'm going to kick his ass. Fly to Australia to beat up Hugo Weaving.
like that slap chopping martial arts? Just do one of those. What's next?
Ministry.
You said they sound like Depeche Mode.
Did you listen to that? No, no, no. I didn't say they sounded like Depeche Mode. They sound like shit. What they sound like, the sound that they got famous for is some kind of weird crossbreed of industrial and thrash that just doesn't come off.
Yeah.
But that song I sent you, did you listen to it?
Yeah.
Revenge?
Oh, not that one, no.
Listen to that song.
Okay.
You should listen to that song sometime. The Al Jorgensen, the guy behind Ministry, he disavowed that song. Like the label made him do basically a pop song,
The Revenge song?
like a new wave song,
Yeah.
just a straight new wave song. He's so embarrassed by it because he's fucking metal. It's great. It's a great song.
Oh.
It's actually really catchy in a kind of dumb 80s way. But yeah, for this song, I only wrote Ministry Sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't good.
No.
It's just loud nonsense.
Oh, this Clubbed to Death song. This is like some perfectly fine trip hop music. This is totally of the era when everybody in England was trying to make some trip hop because Massive Attack was making money. and Tricky was making money.
So this is the song where Neo and Morpheus meet the women in the red dress, and then Mouse gets like super weird about it. Did you see the woman in the red dress? That was mine. You can jerk on our tits or something.
Did you know that actor, like, the funny thing about The Matrix is that there are maybe four actors that you'd see anywhere else ever again, and everybody else is just some Australian faking an American accent. But that guy, the guy who played Mouse, he was in one of the Star Wars prequels.
Oh,
He was the guy who's selling the drugs in the bar in the cantina. He's got a stupid name in it too. His last name is like Scumbagovich or something like that. Literally, it's that bad. Good job, George Lucas.
um, Prime Audio Soup.
Prime Audio Soup. I wrote that if you're not dancing when this song plays, it's far too fucking long. It's like 6 minutes long or something like that. And for some reason, they decided to put the two longest songs on this entire soundtrack back to back, which I think is a stupid idea, because Club to Death is 7.5 minutes long, and then this one's 6 minutes long.
What? Yeah, it's a lot of club music. What is the?
1999. That's a lot of club music.
What does it say over and over again?
Oh, we lost you. You're dead.
Never happened. What was the thing? It's like free, be free or something. What do they say over and over again?
Oh, I was not trying to catch lyrics at any point.
Oh crap! What the hell is the song called? Prime Audio Soup.
Prime Audio Soup by Meat Beat Manifesto, which is a lot of words. It's a lot of music, a lot of words.
Is this coming through the?
I can hear it.
Can you? Set me free.
Set me free.
So that's the song where they're jacking off Neo into the Matrix for the first time.
That would have been a really different movie.
Sure, it's out there.
Keanu Reeves getting jerked off. What are you talking about?
Whoa. So yeah, that's them plugging him in to visit the Oracle for the first time. And I didn't pay attention to any of the music in The Matrix when I watched the movie.
You know what? Funny enough, aside from Rage Against the Machine at the very ending, which is right up in your face, the only one I remember is the one where he's sleeping on his desk and he's listening to Massive Attack, which is not on this soundtrack.
No, it says on here what it is.
It's down here at the bottom. It's
Oh yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Faint music.
Dissolved Girl, which is a Massive Attack song on the best Massive Attack album. Name of which is escaping me right now. It's the one that's got a rhinoceros beetle on the cover.
I actually listened to that song. I thought it was on here, so I listened to it.
No, it's not.
Weird. It's a good song.
It is. It's I mean, this is not a bad soundtrack album.
Yeah.
There are a lot of bad soundtrack albums, but there's enough crap on here that it could have used Massive Attack.
Well, and down at like number 12, they have Du Hast on here. Like, that wasn't in the movie.
It was, I think. Maybe that's one of those tracks that was supposedly inspired by the film. I love inspired by. I love when they put that on soundtrack albums. It's like, oh, and this artist just kind of had this single lying around, and they're signed to the label, so.
No, because they did the music video for Du Hast, and it was Quentin Tarantino type music video. Like, it was Reservoir Dogs. They were all wearing the suits, and they set the dude on fire.
And they had weird masks.
No.
Yeah, at least the lead singer had like this weird half mask where the top of his face was fake.
Oh, maybe.
I My note on Du Hast is, um, I remember being a teen boy. I had that fucking album. I had a some kind of bonus edition that included an English language version of Du Hast.
Ew.
Yeah, it's not
It's not the
good.
same song.
No, they.
I,
I've,
I remember them playing it on MTV with subtitles, though.
who cares what he's saying? If you know what he's saying, it makes the song infinitely dumber. It's basically you asked me a question and I wouldn't tell you.
Well, it's like
And
Tool.
then there's the one line that they translated for the English language version. So I don't know what the literal translation is, but in the English language version, it's like in the chorus, "Will you till death be her rider? Something something and stay inside her." It's gross. It's fucking
Ugh.
gross. It's real fucking gross.
Ew.
Yeah. So
No.
seek that out if you're looking for fun.
I'm not. I'm
No,
not
I'm not gonna either.
yeah, no. Tool has on. Is it Enema? They have like the German. I think it's track 10.
Oh yeah, the recipe.
Is a cake recipe.
Yeah,
Or it
eggs
sounds,
of Satan.
yeah. Sounds like a terrifying speech, though.
That's because German's scary.
It
That's the
really
point. Like you
is.
put any that Du Hast guy could be saying anything in the world. It'd be the scariest song.
Where do we leave off? Oh,
Lunatic Calm, leave you far behind.
I don't remember that song.
Um, the only thought that I had was they were like Prodigy, and they were listed right before Prodigy, doing them an immense disservice because they're like a middling, like techno act
Right.
that I've never heard of before and have not heard of since. And then Prodigy comes on and blows them the fuck out of the water.
Oh, I don't even have it in my playlist. I didn't listen to it.
You saved yourself like 3 minutes.
Okay. I'm sure it was lovely.
It wasn't. It was kind of mediocre.
And then Minefields by The Prodigy.
The Prodigy.
But there's The Prodigy and there's Prodigy, right?
Is Prodigy a rapper?
No, Prodigy is like is just the white dude, like the other guy left.
Oh, Keith, what's his ass?
Yeah,
The guy with the hair?
Yeah, one of them left, and so they're like, we're going to keep going. We're going to be the Prodigy. Can't do that. All right, we're Prodigy. All right.
I don't know. I had the Fat of the Land and the one where the guy's face is metal. Like the guy's pushing through liquid metal or something.
Oh.
I had the Fat of the Land. That was the important album. That's Minefields is from that.
Okay. I thought is Minefields in here somewhere? Yeah, it's in the club scene where Neo meets Trinity.
I'm really glad you looked up the corresponding scenes because I could not be bothered.
I had to know. If I'm gonna listen to the soundtrack, I want to know where it was in the movie.
Okay.
Kind of.
Well, I'm glad that you looked it up just so we know like Du Hast isn't in the movie and
It's not.
like we know which songs are lying to us and don't belong there.
Yeah, Du Hast. It doesn't make any sense. There's just like the Wachowskis were just like,
I think it's just Wachowskis.
yes, that's what they did.
That's safe.
Yeah, just the Wachowskis. They they just threw it on there because they're like, this is a sweet song.
Yep, pretty much.
It has nothing to do with anything.
No.
This fits.
Oh,
Yeah,
a
no,
bat-
I liked Minefields. I thought it was a good song.
Yeah, it's good. I wrote down I prefer Narayan. It's another song on the Fat of the Land. I don't know how to pronounce it, but
Oh,
that's a better song than this, but this is a good song.
okay. I did not listen to Dragula.
It's a bad version of Dragula. It's like an electronic version of Dragula, and it's bad.
I couldn't find it, and I didn't care.
I wrote it should have been on that playlist that I sent you. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I made my own playlist on Spotify.
Whoops. Excuse me. No, I wrote Rob Zombie's voice is too crunchy not to be surrounded by equally crunchy guitars. and Song Still Dumb.
Song is still dumb.
Song remains dumb.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I did. I've done it. I've been there, done that. I didn't. I was more interested in stuff I didn't know about.
I had a funny story about that album. It's not actually
Dig through
it's
the
not
depths
actually
of
a
the
funny story.
bottom,
I
all the
owned that
wretches in
album.
hell, all the stitches, and I got some itches.
That's about the size of
Dragula.
it. um, there was a TV commercial for Dragula that aired in the dead of night during ECW on WADL on public access, and it was the TV commercial for the album. Like they just intercut bits and bobs from the music video, and it was like, call this 1-800 number, order the album up, because that's what things were like back in the 90s.
I just read something about, or I listened to something about something Lamangelo.
Yes.
He was a singer in the 70s.
Yeah.
What's his name?
D'Angelo? Oh,
No.
in the 70s?
Yeah, it was a white guy, and his
Lemon
name.
Jello?
His yes. It's oh. That's his fucking name though. Is Lemon Jello. Let's see if we can find it. Lemon Jello. Yeah. Peter Lemon Jello.
That's legitimately. He was born with that name.
Hold on.
It can't be.
Hold on. Yeah, he was born Peter Lemon Jello.
Then again, I saw some local business owner in one of the political ads because it's the shittiest time of the year. And I don't know, he was stumping for somebody, and his name was Tim Surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise! I thought it was very odd. Legitimately? Tim Surprise?
Peter Lemon Jello's Wikipedia page gets very dark very quickly. But so what he did was he put together an album of like 10 songs, and then he put a commercial on the TV, and it was like, you've heard him do this, you've heard him do that, now Peter Lemongello sings the hits, order his album now. But it was crap. Like nobody had ever heard of him, but they framed it as like he's had this illustrious career, and now here's his album, you can order it for $9.95.
Not bad.
And
That's kind of...
it was kind of scammy, but it worked. He sold a ton of albums. But his Wikipedia page
Peter
goes...
Lemongello. I think I remember
Yeah.
Peter Lemongello.
I love Lemon Jello. His Wikipedia page goes...
Oh, what's even the point? Just make up some plain old gelatin and eat that, for fuck's sake.
Jerry chocolate pudding. Singing.
I almost just bought a microphone just now. Spitting tea all over.
His Wikipedia, like the tabs on his Wikipedia page go, Peter Lemongello, early career, kidnapping.
What? Wait. Somebody kidnapped him or he kidnapped somebody else?
I don't know. Oh, sorry. It goes early career, Love 76, kidnapping, arson, later career, parodies. Like,
Oh, okay.
took a weird turn. Lemongello and his cousin Pro Bowler Mike Lemongello were kidnapped from a construction site.
For what?
They forced Mike the Bowler, not Peter Lemongello, famed singer, to withdraw money from a bank.
Well, hey. He's a professional bowler. For all I know, those guys could be raking it in. I don't know.
2 weeks after the incident, Mark Lemongello turned himself into the police.
So, are you saying that they were kidnapped by their own cousin or something? I don't understand what's happening here.
Yeah. Yep. They were kidnapped by their own cousin.
Well,
So Lemongello, his cousin Mike, were kidnapped by another cousin, Mark. And then, Peter Lemongello, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, there we go. Okay. What a career. My Own Summer, Shove It by Deftones.
I legitimately like this song a lot.
I like it.
Actually,
I can't listen to a Deftones album. It's just too weird and ambient noisy for me. It's just-
yeah, I don't think they were ever really great for a full album,
Yeah.
but they were an interesting band. I just love the snare drum sound. I love how the drums are produced in that song, because it's like you took this snareless snare drum and dropped it into the Grand Canyon and go, you know. I just love that fucking snare sound.
Well, it was the generation of like I don't know if it was the beginning of it was around that time it was the generation of the piccolo snare.
I can't believe that there was ever any such generation.
Everybody I had one. I had to get one too when I was like the short amount of time I played drums. I was like, "Oh,
Maybe I'll play this on one song one time sometime.
everybody's doing piccolo snares, so I'll get one." And it was dumb. But yeah, no, I'll do like a Deftones greatest hits.
Do they have one?
I don't know if they have like that shitty like the 20th century hits, like has
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
silver
yeah,
at the
yeah,
top. Yeah,
yeah.
they have one of those. It's like Deftones and it's 10 songs. I'll listen to that.
It's probably all you need. I mean, I'd have to look up a track list, cause I owned more than one album.
I assume.
I
I
owned too many albums.
I told somebody we were doing a podcast and they're like, "Oh, okay, you doing it with Steve? Oh, okay. Is it about listening to all music ever made?" No, but it's gonna help. It's gonna come in. It's
Gonna
gonna
be a
handy.
segment. I don't know. Steve will always like have an aside about. Oh yeah, I own that. It is all right.
I figured.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a challenge when it comes to me. Like some of my stuff's gonna be cruel, I guess. Like
That's fine. I actually have questions about the format that I've got about like what if there's any particular avenue of music that we're focusing on, or if we're just doing all music ever. Because I don't know if we're gonna have a lot to say about like Miles Davis.
dead
Your
air.
your blank stare and the dead air say volumes.
Yeah, I don't know. That would there'd have to be some discussion about if we pick something that's just like a hard no.
Well, I just had the only idea I had was maybe we just do soundtracks, but that would get pretty shitty pretty quick. So
Yeah, and it just would limit like.
I mean, eventually
Ew.
we're gonna run out of soundtracks. I feel like soundtracks only happened between the years of like
Can I
19
not do
like
soundtracks anymore?
for non musicals. Like I feel like the big eras for soundtracks were like the 80s and 90s, and then everybody was like, we're dumping way too much money into these albums that never ever ever sell, so let's not do this anymore.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, Ultrasonic Sound by Hive.
uh I said eh. I was surprised that they sampled a Bad Brains song in there, and like a Bad Brains song that's not from a super great Bad Brains album.
Oh, weird.
But you know the guitar part,
Yeah.
the dun 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 dun, that's a Bad Brains song. I'm like, why? Wow, what an odd choice for a sample. Okay, whatever.
I enjoyed the drums in it.
I don't know if I paid that much attention. Like it, as soon as it became clear that they were just going to repeat that over and over and over, I tuned right the fuck out.
That's not the game, Steve.
I didn't say I skipped it. I just tuned out.
Look to your orb for the warning. Radio edit by Monster Magnet. I don't know what song this is.
Uh,
Oh yeah, I like this song. I like that song.
I put down that it's generic heavy blues rock.
Oh, it's totally like it's just an Ozzy knockoff.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, it's total Ozzy knockoff.
The
but
only note I had on this song was that I would have liked for the only like loud rock band on this soundtrack to be Rage Against the Machine. I feel like that would have been better. Because it's this whole album of mostly electronic music, and then it's Marilyn Manson and Rage Against the Machine. They even neuter Rob Zombie and make his song an electronic song. So I just feel like you didn't need another heavy rock band.
The
Just let.
Hot Rod Herman remix.
Yeah, okay.
I would be curious to know how many soundtracks Marilyn Manson is on in this period of time. Because he was also in Not Another Teen Movie.
Good pull. Why do you know that off the top of your head?
Because my dad had the soundtrack.
Interesting.
Because it was just a cover album, basically. They were all cover songs. It had Blue Monday by Orgy.
Oh, God. Can I just say I hated that era when everybody had to get an 80s song and, like, slow it down and make it heavy because it's heavy because 80s are so cheesy.
You know there's another one right now, too, right?
80s song?
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's 90s. But,
I thought that the deal now was ever since that one, the Donnie Darko ballad version of a Tears for Fears song, I feel like ever since that happened, that's been the move. Like, oh, you take this upbeat song
yeah.
that's maybe a little campy from a previous era, and you acoustic guitars and soft, tender vocals try to get to the underlying meaning of these silly lyrics because everybody listens to music for the fucking lyrics.
They did Zombie by the Crayon Raisins.
Oh, that makes me depressed now. I feel like I've heard it. I feel like
It's-
I've heard that.
It's not good. Let's see if I can even find it. Talk amongst yourselves.
I mean, that's kind of why we're here, Paul. You are ourselves. I guess I'll talk about. Oh, turn it off, please. Thank you. That's not good.
No, and
Who is it?
it's surprisingly it's not Power Man 5000, which is what I thought it was. Or no, what's the
No.
Power Fist or Fist Guys?
I feel like the more you talk, the further away we get from the truth here.
Um, no, whoever did the cover of I don't even know.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know who I'm thinking of.
It's all right. They're not on the Matrix soundtrack.
They're not. Which brings us to
Rage Against the Machine.
nope, Du Hast. Again.
We talked about Du Hast.
We did that.
I've said all I need to ever say for the rest of my life about Du Hast. I owned the album.
See, I knew if I'd waited out,
I
you'd say
out-
more.
I outgrew it quicker than I did most of the stuff that I eventually outgrew from this era.
Did you ever go see one of the weird shows live?
Oh, hell no. God damn it.
Violent.
I'm going to stop doing that. No, as soon as I saw some footage like on an MTV or something, like they had a live video and the dude had some contraption on his face that spewed fire. And I was like, well, I'm never going to see that live.
Yeah.
Because if the guys on stage are doing that kind of crazy shit, I don't want to be anywhere near the pit that is gathered for that band.
Mm-mm.
Too intimidated.
Mm-hmm. And now we come to Wake Up by
Rage Against the Machine.
Rage Against the Machine.
I feel like that album, I feel like every man of a certain age has put that album on to work out at some time in their life.
What?
It's like it's such an angry album all the way through, and I feel like everybody has done curls to that fucking album before. The first Rage Against the Machine album.
Yep. It's got Bomb Track, Killing in the Name, Take the Power Back, Settle for Nothing, Bullet in My Head, Know Your Enemy, Wake Up, Fistful of Steel.
Yeah, get them out as fast as you can, Paul. Actually, I wrote down that I feel like because that album it's really good, but it's real samey. Like I came up with this cool riff. or came up with two cool riffs. Here's the verse, here's the chorus. Zach, scream over this. And that's the whole album. And when you take one of those songs out of context, actually lets you appreciate the song on its own merits.
Yeah, I don't know, because when I listened to it, I was like, this sounds a lot like.
A Rage Against the Machines, all Rage Against the Machine
Yeah,
songs.
it sounds like a throwaway song.
I can't really judge that album because the first 3-4 songs are like, oh yeah, and then it just kind of you it drones from one song to the next in a way that just kind of ends up being one big long angry rap rock song, which is not bad, but
So my takeaway from the soundtrack was, man, '90s club music was way better than what it is right now.
what is club music now? I'm so old.
Noise, just a.
We're too old. We're just too old. We'll never understand.
How dare you?
I've accepted that I'm too old to understand that fucking shit.
In the prime of my life.
All right. Well, dare to dream, Paul.
So,
That's that not very good album,
not very good album. So that brings us to.
which I did not own. I feel like I need to clarify I did not own that album. I owned many bad soundtrack albums in my life, but that was not one of them. I also feel like I didn't like the movie as much as most people, but
I loved the movie, and then 2 and 3 was such a letdown. And unfortunately, you've put it out there that you haven't seen them.
was I supposed to?
And so now
Is
they're
that part of my homework?
now they're in contention for being picked as
Oh my
movies.
god. Oh
As
man.
movies you have to watch.
All right. Well, you know what? And the truth is, after Johnny Mnemonic ended, I didn't feel bad about having rented it. A, it was a free rental.
Oh.
Yeah. And B, like 96 minutes long. I feel like 75% of the people who are involved in it know the kind of movie they're making is just cheesy and dumb.
All right, well, okay. So, Johnny Mnemonic, 1995 Canadian American cyberpunk action thriller film by Robert Longo.
That's too many genres. I'm calling shenanigans on that. You pick two genres at the most.
Cyberpunk action film. Thriller.
It's not a thriller.
We'll get to the thriller part of it.
I was not thrilled at any point, but
So the movie was made in 1995. It stars such powerhouses as Keanu Reeves, Dolph Lundgren.
it does not star Dolph Lundgren. He's barely in that movie. Dina Meyer, who used to be in movies in the 90s, she's the lady in it.
Ice-T and Takeshi. Music by famed Tottenham Hotspur's goalkeeper Brad Friedel. Which would make me very happy if that was his side gig.
He's a Renaissance man.
Language, English and Japanese. Okay, the budget was $26 million. It made $52 million.
They really got around that Japanese bit pretty quick too. They just hired a whole bunch of like Asian Americans, and the first time one of the guys goes up against an actual Japanese actor. He's like, "Your Japanese is terrible. Speak to me in English."
The film premiered in Japan April 15th in a longer director cut version, 103 minutes. But then that was 7 minutes too long for America. So,
Hey man, I am in agreement with America.
so the budget was 26 million, and I think in the US it made like 28 million.
I got some engineering I'm trying to do here. Excuse me. Okay. You're right about the pillow thing.
Yeah, in America it made like 28 million on a budget of 26, and then it made the rest of the money in China,
Which is
which is
true to form even to today.
Yeah, but why? I don't know. What's funny is you still have to have subtitles for the Japanese people in China.
Japan and China have a poor history with one another because they're too close together,
They do,
basically.
but they loved the movie,
I find that strange.
isn't it?
So, I mean, I guess it'd be different if the Japanese guys were good guys. But
Real.
they're an evil corporation here, so China's like, ah, typical Japanese.
Um, Johnny Mnemonic he is a courier, and the storage device.
He's a hard drive. He's a human hard drive.
His brain is a hard drive, and it holds 80 gigs.
Tiny, tiny, tiny little hard drive.
Can't even get a terabyte in there.
You know what? I'm gonna skip to the end because I gotta say the idea that having three. I know that there are certain sizes of hard drives and you can't go over capacity, but he goes over capacity in this movie. It's like one of the key things to the plot is that he accepts too much information and can't get rid of it. His brain's gonna explode or whatever.
So yeah, he has a 80 gigabyte brain, which he gets upgraded to 160 gigabytes.
In an elevator somehow. Like he's just riding in the elevator and
Yeah.
there I didn't really
Yeah,
understand
I
how
don't
that was
know,
supposed
man.
to
He got
work.
like a firmware upgrade somehow.
Like in the elevator on the go.
His Wi-Fi is.
Futuristic Wi-Fi is some shit.
And so he gets up to 160 gig in the elevator, and then they put 320 gigs in there.
He's like,
And
"Okay, I'll take it. I'll just have to dump it soon."
And so
That is your first, not last Keanu Reeves impression.
the second,
Second?
yeah, we did one during the
Oh
Matrix.
yeah, you did.
Can't get through the Matrix soundtrack without one.
Keanu Reeves getting jerked off.
Whoa. So
It's so funny that you said that because I did have a bad joke that I'm not going to make about what Keanu Reeves sounds like when he's having sex.
okay,
I'm not going to make that joke. Okay, fine, I'll make the joke. Talk me
just
into
go
it.
ahead. If we just hold on, we'll pause.
So I forget which clip. I watched a Matrix clip or something because of the soundtrack. And there's one part where he goes, "Yeah." And I just thought, oh man, having sex with Keanu Reeves is just that over and over again, huh? Yeah. Yeah.
There we go. See, it's
All
a
right.
clean
Yeah,
section.
yeah, right.
I just edited it right out. So they send data. They put it in the brain, and they use the humans as a courier to deliver sensitive information that is too sensitive to just email in a zip file.
Sure. Sounds believable. Sounds like a premise for a movie. Why not?
And his jack, we're all living with like USB 3, USB-C, and Thunderbolt connections and stuff like that. His fucking jack is like just a headphone jack.
Yeah, really, really, really curious. What the, like, did he have to get that? Like, we don't talk about how he got to this point in his life. Like, so you applied for this job and they drilled a hole in your head? Because I'm not taking that job.
Yeah, the device is like it's on his brain, but it's in his brain, and when he overloads his
Or whatever.
when he overloads his capacity, it like starts eating up his short-term memory or some shit.
Yeah, I wrote that down. The idea that 320 gigs, like of 160 extra gigs of data, would overwhelm the human brain. Fuck off, William Gibson.
How much memory do you think the human brain can hold?
It's a whole shitload. I don't. All I'm saying is
Terabytes?
160 gigs ain't gonna fuck anybody up.
So yeah, they put the thing in his brain, and then he goes to uh, some scientists to get their valuable information, and everybody gets fucking gunned down.
Yeah,
Well, oh, he puts on the glasses and he puts in the mouse guard.
yeah, hit me.
And the way that they fucking the secret code is like 3 images from the TV show they were watching. Is the secret code
It's so stupid. It's why are we hanging a movie on this?
is the secret code to access the information. And so
To
they
cure what's the virus called that everybody has? I can't remember the name of the disease. It's the cure to some the black rain or some shit. Black something,
nerve attenuation syndrome,
which they call the
a plague ravaging mankind due to overdependence on technology.
I don't know. They got a slang term for it, but it's like the black shakes, something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It is in fact the black shakes.
Oh, and that's people who. Is it their dependency on technology, or is it people that got like the technological upgrades or whatever? They got like the robot arms or whatever the fuck it was.
It all fits together. It's mostly everybody got so. It's a real get off my lawn type thing, like all these cell phones. Everybody's staring at their cell phones.
Nobody was though.
No,
It was 95.
it's-
Everybody's staring at their
this
Walkmans.
dude's cranky old man game was really on point. He was ahead of his time. He was like, oh, put down that Sega Genesis controller, you know?
I love the internet.
Oh, their version of the internet.
Their version of the internet was fantastic. It was pretty close. What was the year of this movie? 2021.
Yeah, 2021. I wrote that down. I was like, whoa, nope.
We're getting there. In 2021, Ice-T is going to be pissed about technological
You remember
advancements.
they had Back to the Future Day? You think they're gonna have a Johnny Mnemonic Day in 2021?
No, nobody saw this movie.
They'll have one in China.
No.
You don't think so?
No, they've already recycled that population of people that saw this movie.
That's true. They're all dead of lung cancer. That might be a cuttable offense. That line.
Maybe.
Offend the entire nation of China.
Only a few of them.
I'd also like to point out that Keanu Reeves has a Lego Man haircut. He has no sideburns. And it's so far off behind his ear. It's like they just set the hair on top of his head. It's like you could interchange hair. And this is right at the beginning of what I think of as I track Keanu Reeves' career by his hairstyles. So you got floppy
Bill and Ted.
yeah,
with the
Ted
shag-
Theodore Logan hair.
Yeah.
And then you have short hair Keanu,
Yeah.
which started with Speed, which is where whoever directed Speed, I can't believe I'm forgetting it, Wolfgang Peterson. But that guy was like, no American cop would ever have this mop that you have, sir. We're going to buzz your head.
Did Speed come out before or after this?
Before. Like, I think this was the movie right after Speed.
You're coming into my mic, dog. Go away.
Right?
It's just like, why is this guy panting so much?
He really enjoys this movie and the company of his friend.
Really likes Keanu's hair.
Frantically masturbating.
Um,
And then you've got Keanu now, which is kind of homeless Keanu. He's got the long hair and the
the shitty
really
pirate beard.
Yeah, the spotty beard.
Yeah, I liked that he's a surfer, California bum from Canada.
Hawaii.
He's from Canada.
Well, I know he's from Canada, but I think his parents were Hawaiian. That's why he's got such a stupid first name.
Oh,
Keanu, hang loose.
yeah. What?
I don't know.
He doesn't make sense as human. And then he like spent all of his summers in England with his grandma.
Then why can't he do an English accent for shit? He's in like 4 movies during the floppy-haired Keanu period, trying and failing so badly at an English accent.
He spent summers in he spent summers in England.
He just ends up sounding like Keanu Reeves just got hit in the head with a brick.
But then like he started his own motorcycle company, and so he was talking about that, and he was like, "Oh, when I was a kid in California," I'm like, "Where are you from, dude? Are you from Canada, Hawaii? You lived in California, summers in England? What?" Pick an origin. These bikers used to come into town, and they look like pirates. It's like, what? So I wanted to start my own motorcycle company.
Because bikers in the 70s look like pirates?
I guess.
All right. I don't know. I wasn't in California in the 70s, so for all I know, that is.
I don't think he was either. So yeah, he meets with frantic scientists, and they give him 320 gigabytes of memory. That's way too much. Then there's the 3 random images from their television show that is the code for the hard drive upload or whatever. Then they're gonna send that to New Jersey, but the Yakuza turn up.
I love how important Newark, New Jersey is to the plot of this movie. It's like you took a dart and threw it at a globe. Like, we gotta get to where you gotta get to New York City. You gotta get to Newark, New Jersey.
Which was Toronto, Canada.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was actually just Toronto. So I don't know.
Maybe that's why they made it Newark. They couldn't make it a recognizable city because it's just clearly Toronto.
Just nobody visits Newark. So then he starts getting chased by
when he gets this too much download and his nose starts to bleed a little bit and he's like woozy and
I have to go to the bathroom.
And he goes into the bathroom and he does some like Tai Chi shit.
Oh yeah.
And that focuses him or some. It's awful. It's so cheesy.
He had to recenter his chi.
Man.
To accept the gigabytes.
What the fuck?
And it's like Scarface's bathroom too. It's all red with dragons everywhere.
Yeah, it's real. Like all the living
hotel room is this?
Yeah, is this what hotel rooms are in the future? It looks like shit. I wouldn't want to sleep in this place.
And that's when it starts getting weird.
Oh, and he in the bathroom. One last thing about the bathroom. I can't get out of the bathroom.
Sure.
The faucet. I'm not sure if this was actually how 1995 was. It was a long time ago.
2021.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Motion sensor faucet. Waves his hand over the faucet and the water goes. I don't know if they had that in 1995, so nice job, William Gibson. You really predicted the future on that one.
They did on a few things, like the internet with like the virtual reality and moving, like putting the gloves on and stuff like that.
Those hands, though.
But the actual
graphics.
Seeing of the hands,
Oh.
you see his hands and like,
That's a real like
chopping and moving
partially
stuff
inspired by the Windows 95 little pointer hand.
Oh,
I feel like that's got to be where they were like, well, certainly this cyber hand technology will continue to advance. Everybody wants to see their hands in the internet.
No.
I sure don't. And there's so many one-liners that they give to Keanu Reeves. I think, I'm sure we'll talk about your theory with the Wachowskis saw this movie and just said, we'll take this bit, this bit, this bit, and this bit, and you, Keanu Reeves, are not Arnold Schwarzenegger. You cannot deliver one liners, so we're going to make you perpetually confused. We think you'll be good at that. And they were right. But he's got some stupid one line. Like, he gets to these scientists' hotel room with like pizza delivery or some shit. He makes a pizza joke. He's like, double cheese anchovies.
Oh yeah. Well, he's got like all the rifles pointed at
Yeah, and he delivers it so poorly. Like he just can't carry it off.
And it also, not only do I think this movie set him up for the Matrix, where the Wachowskis saw this and they're like, "Oh, cool." I even think somebody saw it and was like, "He looks great in a suit. He'd be great in John Wick." Like,
I had a theory about if you look at floppy haired Keanu, it's like they shaved his head for speed, like took him down to a 1 or something, and then Hollywood was like, hey, I bet you could put that guy in a suit so he doesn't just have to play a surf bum or a bro dude. It was like the turning point, and all of a sudden he's just in suits all the fucking time for that whole short-haired Keanu period. He's wearing a suit like the entire time. Never before, unless he's in like Victorian London or France.
yeah, how long does it take him to grow his hair out?
Who knows?
Because it took from like 94 to
I still feel like
99 to grow it out.
at that point, like even at this point in this movie in '95, he's kind of feeling it out. Like he doesn't really know what to do. Like I haven't had my hair this short since I've never had my hair this short ever. So he just doesn't know what to do with it. So I like to think that the no sideburns look is not stylistic for the movie, but just kind of what he was experimenting with at the time.
Oh, I don't think he can grow sideburns.
No, I mean his hairline. You know where you have that
Oh, it's
little
like
little
above
tab?
the air?
It's
Or
even
above
with the
ear?
air, ear, straight line
Huh.
over the ear.
I
It's
guess so,
fucking
yeah.
wretched. It's real bad.
Um, fuck, this movie.
The fight choreography in this hotel room scene is awful. It's really clumsy. Like I don't.
Super cartoony.
It's amazing that it took until 1999 to say, you know who knows how to do this? The guys working in Hong Kong. Let's go get some of them. I don't know what scrub did this fucking fight choreography, but it's real bad.
Um, fuck, I don't even. After he gets, like, and they tear up the thing that has the 3 pictures of the TV show so he can't access his code, and then he runs into. He runs into Ice-T.
Who's got this awesome, like, beautiful flowering plant on his head? These long dreads exploding into a fountain like 8 inches above his head.
So, the acting debut of Ice-T, which...
Oh, and it shows.
But he's way less robotic in this than he is in any Law and Order episode you see him in.
I feel like they told him, like, okay, T, you gotta calm down that charisma. Because you're blowing Christopher Maloney off the screen. You gotta calm that down.
So he meets Ice-T, and I forget how they become friends, but he does something to help him out. And Ice-T is...
No, it's because mutual enemies. Like the corporation's coming after Keanu, and Ice-T like is a chief of the underground.
So nobody has seen this movie, but I guarantee most people who hear this have seen Demolition Man.
Mm.
So it's the same sort of premise, actually, where Sylvester Stallone is just trying to do his job, and then he runs into Dennis Leary, and Dennis Leary is like the Lord of the Underground, trying to stay away from technology. And so it's the same thing. Ice-T is Dennis Leary. He's trying to stay away from technology. He's the king of the king of the low techs. But they use high tech equipment to battle the high techies.
That whole Dennis
with
Leary
their-
subplot in that movie grinds that movie to a halt. Like all of a sudden they realized amongst all the Taco Bell jokes and the shells and the swearing and stuff, like we don't have a plot in this movie.
Nope.
It's like just get to the end, get to your runtime, and then have Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone fight. Simple as that. We don't need Dennis Leary, just big muscly guy fight. Also, it's revealed around this point that he's dyslexic, and I don't know if that mattered.
Wait, who's dyslexic?
Johnny Mnemonic.
He's dyslexic?
He says it at one point. He's like, he's weeping to Dina Meyer about his family and his relationship with his mother, and he starts crying, and he says, "I'm a dyslexic." I'm like, what the fuck? Does that?
I
You
missed
see,
that
this is the
completely.
reaction I had. I was like, with this movie. First of all, I waited until like the 11th hour to watch this movie. I wanted it as fresh in my mind as possible.
Sure.
But I'm like, I'm not gonna pause this movie. I gotta get through this, and I gotta go to bed. So it's like 10:30 at night. He's like, my mother, dyslexic. And I was just laughing my ass off. So I don't know if there was a further explanation. I had enough time to write down, will it matter that he's dyslexic?
Dyslexia is no laughing matter.
Hey,
But in this context,
I
it's
appreciate their
hilarious.
struggle, but I don't fucking know what it's doing in this movie.
oh man, I totally missed that part.
And you know who's they take him to or Dina Meyer hooks him up with this science guy who's gonna try and help him, like he's a tech nerd, right? And
Did Ice-T come up with his name for the movie? J-Bone?
oh yeah, he introduced himself. He's like, "I'm J Bone." It's like, definitely, he came up with his own name for this movie for sure. I mean, you have to be a ballsy, nerdy science fiction writer to be like, this is the one black guy in our movie. I'm gonna give him a totally ridiculous,
just
like
the worst
fake
name.
hip hop name.
Yeah. So eventually Johnny meets Dina Meyer, whose name is Jane, and she has robotic implants for some reason.
Yeah, she's some kind of prostitute or something, I think.
No, she's a bodyguard, or she's trying.
Oh right, she's trying to be a bodyguard.
She's trying to be a bodyguard of the
because,
French guy.
Yeah, Udo Kier
Yeah.
has these sexy lady bodyguards.
And he's also the guy that sets up all the deals for Johnny Mnemonic. He's his financial.
Whatever.
And okay, so for some reason she wants to work for him, so she doesn't like him, so she beats up his bodyguards and then starts having a seizure. And
Oh my god, yeah, the seizure. I forgot about the seizure.
yeah, so the whole deal goes south for Johnny's information in his brain, and so his boss turns on him, and so the Japanese.
Of course, he's Udo Kier. Has he ever been a good guy?
No. And so the Japanese pharmaceutical company that's chasing Johnny Mnemonic catches up to him, and
I'm dying to get to Henry Rollins.
they try to. I know you are.
Can
They
we
try
please
to
get to Henry Rollins?
They try to cut off his head, but he gets away, and so Jane is like, "Oh, dude, your brain's melting." And he's
Is
like,
it coming?
"Ah."
It's coming soon.
Yeah, so he falls over, and he sleeps for like 6 hours. And he wakes up. He's like, "Why did you wake me? I've got to get to my thing before time runs out and my brain explodes." She's like, "Oh, let me take you to this doctor who will help you." And the doctor is Spider, who is
Henry fucking Rollins.
Henry Rollins.
You know who's not believable as an actor. But you know
As
who's
anything.
not believable as a nerd? Henry Rollins. Like this big jacked, they let his tattoos show the whole bit. They just put some glasses and a nerd coat on him and say, "Okay, you're a nerd now. Just act like Henry Rollins."
And it's late early 30s, mid 30s Henry Rollins.
Yeah.
So he's like jacked, like he's in the middle of his 5'4"
It's like,
bodybuilder phase.
yeah, it's right before I Am a Liar. That album came out in 96, I think. So just take off the red paint, slap some glasses on him. He's a computer nerd, right? No.
Yeah. So he's just this muscled up dwarf in a lab coat with glasses. And oh man, his acting is atrocious. Atrocious. It's Henry Rollins trying to talk.
I swear he's only believable. For some reason, he is believable when they make him play some kind of law enforcement.
Oh yeah.
I feel like he's a decent cop,
Yeah,
which is strange.
if you just put him in some SWAT gear, it's fine. But he was trying to be like a snarky doctor. Snarky
Is
rebellion.
he even supposed to be snarky?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be like cracking little jokes, eh?
No, he's just supposed to, I don't know, just dickish. But then so they go, he's like, I've got this information. And he's like, I know what the information is. For some reason. It's the cure to the
It's
disease.
the cure to black shakes.
Very racist.
And the only thing that they give us really about the black shakes is like, you have seizures.
That's it.
Yeah, they really never cover the symptoms.
And there's
not making light of seizures, but
oh yeah, so they get the black shakes and then takes them to a fucking underground hospital in a museum or whatever.
I didn't get that either.
Whatever. So in the midst of all this, super assassin Dolph Lundgren has been sicked on him.
Man,
And it's Dolph Lundgren, first of all, in a movie. Second of all,
this was his last theatrically released film until The Expendables. By the way.
Really?
Yeah, took that long.
probably for good reason.
Well, yeah, I feel like he showed up in that Rocky movie. He showed up in Rocky 4,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, look at this giant blonde guy. He can be in action movies, right? And then he goes on a tear of just the worst fucking decisions. He makes Masters of the Universe, where he plays He-Man, which was a bad movie.
I think there's a spin-off movie for his
Red Sonja,
Huh?
spin-off movie from the He-Man movie.
No, from Rocky, from his Russian military boxing character. There's a spin-off movie for that where he turns on the Russian military or something like that.
Man.
Yeah, that's on the list.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I'll have to find that.
But he makes Masters of the Universe. It
Yeah.
tanks, and then he makes the 1989, I think, Punisher movie,
Oh yeah.
where they're like, hey, okay, let's take this big Nordic blonde guy and make him a black-haired Italian American.
And so in Johnny Mnemonic, is he a monk or a priest? Would you say a monk?
I didn't get the vibe that he's actually affiliated with any religion. I think he's just a religious zealot. Just not actually a holy man, but just obsessed with religion somehow.
He's got the same kind of robe on that Paul Bettany does in Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, but I think that's just him posing.
Huh? Which would be funny if they saw Johnny Mnemonic and they were like, Paul Bettany, I've got the perfect costume for you. You're going to be a religious assassin, just like Dolph Lundgren. And so Dolph Lundgren has the big fuck-off knife, the big Rambo gold-plated.
It's a pretty awesome knife.
It is a good knife, but the handle is a cross, and then the blade is the same one that was in Rambo, basically. The half saw, half saber thing.
See, this is what I was talking about with like 75% of the cast knowing what kind of movie they're in. Dolph Lundgren knows exactly what kind of movie this is going to end up being.
So he had
I don't think Keanu knows, but Dolph knows.
So he had the brown robe on, and then he had the shitty blonde wig.
Oh, he's got this great beard, which is just like if you take a cotton ball and like stretch it out, just stick a bunch of those to his face. It's awful. It's
It's
awful.
exactly what it was. So he had a beard wig and a hair wig.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay. He was wigged everywhere.
He well, I don't know about everywhere. Hey, I don't know. I don't know what's going on under that robe.
So, um, and he's killed one or two people up to this point. And oh fuck, never forgot like the main Japanese yakuza pharmaceutical guy that is um that's chasing them. He has the laser rope that comes out of his
Oh my
fingernail.
God, this fingernail. I was looking at this, and it becomes a pretty big deal at the
Yeah,
end of the movie. It's how this guy meets his end. But I found this fingernail whip thing real weird.
I
The
loved it. Yeah,
thumbnail.
yeah. It's a laser rope that he can pull out of his
He's got
thumbnail.
this super long Coke thumbnail,
Yeah.
and it's a laser whip. I was like, why does it have to be a super sharp nail?
So, anyways,
Why does it have to be attached to your thumb?
Dolph Lundgren killed the bartender, and then he disappears for a while. And then, so they're in the hospital in the the church or the museum or whatever it was.
They stick, you know those squeezy stress balls.
Yeah.
They stick one all the way into his mouth when they're setting up for this surgery. It's the most ridiculous thing. There's this giant like squeezy stress ball, and they just shove that into his mouth when they're setting up for this operation.
Into Keanu's mouth.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I guess they did.
it's strange. It's like, what's that supposed to do? This squishy little ball. How's this supposed to help him?
So so Henry Rollins, Doctor Spider, is trying to hack into Keanu's head to see what's in there, and he figures out that it's a cure for the NAS disease or whatever the the black shakes. And who would appear but Dolph Lundgren? Oh, he sends in the gurney
Yeah.
with the dude on it, and he has his knife stuck in his chest or
Oh
whatever,
yeah,
with the
yeah,
cross
yeah.
poking out, and they're like, "Holy shit!" And then he comes in.
I feel like that's a moment on set where they have that shot all planned out, and everybody who's gonna get it, who's involved, is like, "Oh, it's this kind of cheesy action movie. I got you."
So I don't remember any of Dolph Lundgren's lines, but he was yelling.
Oh, it's a bunch of religious nonsense. He's like,
Yeah,
it's fake Bible verses. He's just throwing out here all over the place.
yeah. I don't. Yeah, it's just fake Bible verses.
I wish
It's
I'd
just
have written.
nonsense. You gotta. Yeah. I wish I had written. Maybe I'll splice one into here so that people can hear it.
It's a great. He's pitched to the rafters too. This performance, he's doing opera here.
Oh, super over the top. And that would he gave up on movies at that point.
Yeah,
He gave as soon as he saw how this movie was going, he's like, "Fuck it, I'm going out."
which
with a bang."
also, strangely enough, makes him the best part of this not very good movie. His performance is so stupid and ridiculous. It's
Oh, yeah.
perfect.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
perfect.
Um. So then they're like, oh, "Fuck, I gotta get this thing out of my brain." I know who can get it out. The people that don't use technology. So he goes back to the low tech people.
Makes perfect sense. It's the first thing I'd think too.
So he goes back to see Ice-T, who is in a half broken FDR bridge, and he just kind of sits there yelling for a few minutes, and then they throw a flaming car at him for some reason.
Yeah, it's like their defense system is like they just drop flaming cars on folks.
Beatles, I think they were all Beatles
Yes,
too. Yeah.
yeah, and they say they're like bug them. And look, I'm all right with that. I'm a little disappointed that the Mad Max series didn't get there first, but I like bug them.
Yeah, bug him. So and you throw a bug at him. And then who should slowly appear but J Bone on his
Uh,
like slowly lowering behind them in the background. They turn around and it's super dramatic, but it's so dumb. So they go up there. He's like, I got something to help you out. We'll get that out of your brain. Come with me. You're going to meet Jeff or Jerry or what the fuck was that thing's name?
oh, I don't.
Jones.
Jonesy.
Jones, yep. So they go up into their hideout and they take him to the back room. And here you go. Meet Jones. And it's a fucking dolphin.
It's this dolphin with this robotic shit on its face,
It's this
and the
dolphin.
dolphin's like.
It has. It is the worst
They actually do at one point
dolphin puppet.
towards the end of this thing's dead. It's floating in like
Feces and stuff?
it's
Yeah.
green water
Yeah.
in a regular aquarium, like a regular home aquarium. This fucking thing's dead.
Yeah.
If it were a real dolphin. So, and I think later on in the
His
movie
dorsal fin
they
all
actually
folded over and stuff.
do manage to incorporate the flipper noise, like the legit flipper noise
Oh.
from the TV show.
So this dolphin is hooked up to all kinds of cyber.
You got to cut in the flipper noise, by the way,
Okay.
for people who don't know what I'm talking about.
The cyber is it cybernetics? I don't know. The dolphin has a bunch of hookup upgrades and shit in his body, and he's in this container. And
Like, this was a period of in history where everybody was obsessed with like sea-dwelling mammals,
yeah,
like orcas and dolphins and shit, because they're so smart. They're smarter than dogs. They're almost as smart as human beings. So you had to get like dolphins in every fucking thing. Is because we had this. There was a video game, Echo the Dolphin, which is a bad video game.
they had Free Willy.
Free Willy,
Just came out shortly after this. It was around this time.
around this time.
Yeah. But everybody's all into like SeaWorld was at its peak. Um,
Before they knew what kind of atrocities those people were committing with those animals.
That's a whole different show.
Yeah, agreed.
That'll be on Up for Debate.
Our political podcast nobody listens to.
And won't be made. um, so
Oh, and I'd like to also say, there's a he's calling somebody at one point, AT&T.
oh, was it?
AT&T, carrier of the future.
See? And they just merged with Time Warner. It's 2021. You'll see. Dolphins will be on Wi-Fi. So the dolphin is hooked up to like satellites, and for some reason this dolphin can use his brain power to melt people via satellite.
Yep, that's this.
Am I wrong?
This dolphin should have been the hero of the movie. Like
he
this
couldn't
dolphin.
move. If he could have moved,
Yeah.
if they could have put him on like a dolly and
Put him
moved
in
around.
water.
Yeah. He was in water. I'm pretty sure he was in engine coolant.
It's gross looking.
Yeah. So then, and so the Yakuza show up, so they're trying to hack into Keanu's brain before the Yakuza get to him, and they end up getting there, and Dolph Lundgren shows up, and they set him on fire. How did he get burned?
How did it get burned? How did it get burned? I don't remember.
I don't remember. He got set on.
At a point here, I just started. I broke down and just started writing fragments of sentences. This movie broke me a little bit. I'm glad. My one fear was that this thing was gonna be. I'm so trained to think that all movies are at least 120 minutes long.
Yeah.
I was worried for myself, but 96 minutes, not bad.
So. Yeah, they put like a power line in a puddle of water or some shit like that, and he'd set him on fire. And then Keanu fights like the Yakuza boss with the laser finger rope, and he ends up like cutting his head off, and then they go back and they hack into his brain, and they send out the cure for the disease or whatever, and they beat Big Farm.
Big Pharma. Pharmacom? Pharmacom, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Um, So, and then everybody's standing there, and then like they're doing like the hero shot of Keanu with like he's getting the girl, and then oh no, this burned up corpse of Dolph Lundgren is moving again.
Oh,
He's
because he's
gonna get
Jason Voorhees, fuck's sake.
yeah, but it's just people picking him up, and it's
That was
like,
so stupid. I was so mad at this fucking movie for that. It was so. Get that trash out of here. Something like that. Like, oh yeah, what's this? Just garbage, says J Bone. Get the fuck out of here. Why even? Why? Why? It's not funny, and I really did have a moment where I was like, of course he's still alive. Of course he's still alive. And then they did that, and I was like, well, that was pointless. Fuck.
oh, so okay, so that's the fucking movie. Throughout, forgot to mention that throughout this movie, there is a mystical cybernetic lady that keeps popping up.
The ghost in the machine.
The ghost in the machine. She used to own the pharmaceutical company, and she was dying, so she downloaded her brain into a mainframe, and so like she would give Keanu hints. She would just pop up on TVs and give him hints, or she would pop up on TVs and like berate the Yakuza guys and stuff, and I don't know. It was one of those
It
things.
took me the entire movie to try and figure out what the fuck her deal was. She's like barely in the movie.
Yeah.
Like she pops up early
But
on to
she's
talk to
a
Udo
big
Kier.
part of the movie.
I'm like, what is this shit? Is she a bad guy?
She's barely in the movie, but she's like a huge part of the movie because she is pointing everybody in the right direction.
You know, we got the ghost in the
And
machine.
then they were like, "Oh fuck, we need to explain who the hell she is."
Keanu's a dyslexic. We got
I'm dyslexic.
I'm dyslexic. It's just so strange. It comes out of fucking nowhere. Like he's he's emoting as hard as he can about his dyslexia. And like he said, dyslexia is no laughing matter. It just doesn't really belong in this movie at
No.
all.
And I'm trying to think of like his big line from Dracula, like the bloody wolves. Like it came off the same way that came off.
So, needless to say, Keanu probably really needed The Matrix after this, like really bad. I think there's a couple movies in between this and The Matrix. He needed The Matrix.
Yeah, maybe. But he needed the Matrix to be able to do like John Wick and stuff like that. But yeah, oh fuck. This movie could have fucking buried him.
Can you imagine? You know, it's 1995. You got like a Sunday afternoon off. You're like, maybe I'll go to a movie, enjoy some free air conditioning. And you haven't been paying attention to trailers or anything, so you go in. You're like, oh, it looks like a sci-fi action movie. I like Total Recall. I like shit like that.
Oh, he had Devil's Advocate before
Aha,
the
yeah,
Matrix.
yeah. Again, put him in a suit. He can be a lawyer now. He's got short hair.
I enjoyed that movie.
It's stupid.
Hey, of course it is. A Walk in the Clouds, Chain Reaction, Feeling Minnesota, The Last Time I Committed Suicide, Devil's Advocate, and then The Matrix.
That's not good. That's a bad run.
Yeah. So, the movie was...
But can you imagine
awful.
like walking into a theater and without knowing anything about it, going into Johnny Mnemonic and watching it and just can you imagine what your reaction would be to everything? It'd be like, what's Ice-T got on his head? And is that a fucking dolphin?
Well, the... Henry Rollins is a doctor? why is she having a seizure? Fuck. I'm glad I watched it. And then you asked me last night if I wanted to watch it again before the show, and I really did want to watch it again before we did a review of it. I was like, you know what? We're doing it tomorrow. I should get it fresh in my brain. I fucking couldn't do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I was like, oh no.
I feel exactly the same way about this movie. I think it's worth watching once if you have access to it free.
Yeah.
I don't think
And
it's
I did,
worth.
yeah.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
worth spending any money on. Like you're not missing anything. Obviously, it's not like it's a like regarded as a forgotten classic or some shit. But no, it's fun and stupid once for free. But and I'm sure that
As
sure
most of the movies we
if
pick
anybody
will
ends
be.
up listening to this, there's like some angry internet person being like, "That's my favorite fucking movie. I got that on Blu-ray."
There's always one.
Uh,
I love that movie. Why? Okay.
People who don't like this movie don't know how to have fun. It's like, no, I know how to have fun. I had fun with this stupid movie. I just can't imagine, sincerely loving it.
We're at like 2 hours ish.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot of cutting.
This is still gonna be like a 2.5 hour long show.